What's going on, people? Welcome back to Nick J. Francis channel once again. We just drew 2-2 with Sporting Lisbon in the first leg of the Europa League knockout game, and it was a really flat performance, to be honest with you. We could have lost that game. We probably should have lost that game. It was such a disappointing game. The first half, we were massively overcomplicating it. I like to be a positive person, and especially towards this Arsenal team that's done so well so far this season. So I want to keep up with being positive, but I want to get the negatives out first. Matt Turner's been really good when he stepped in previous Europa League games. He was not great today. The distribution wasn't good. Some of the decision-making was awful. The passing decision-making didn't make any sense today. Zinchenko stepping into midfield, I don't know if it was overconfidence. I don't know if he's a little bit giddy still from that 3-2. But some of the decision-making was really poor. We played with Martinelli up top, which means that he's not as good at holding up the ball. He's more of a running behind striker, which we're not going to have that type of space. They played against us very well. They spread themselves really wide. They pressed us, and they made the pitch really big and expansive. And they were going with balls over the top quite a lot and getting some success from that. And the reason they were getting success is because we just were not dominating the ball. We weren't controlling the ball. We weren't finding our passes. We were dawdling in the midfield a lot. Zinchenko and Jorginho especially, I just thought were taking far too long on the ball, allowing us to get pressed, and then they forced us into making mistakes. That first half was so disappointing. Very good corner from Fabio Vieira, comes in, and Saliba tucks it away. We're 1-0 up, and I thought, okay, let's really kick on from here. And we just didn't really seem to be able to. We struggled to live with their press and the pressure that they put on us. They were quite physical as well. We're meant to be the Premier League side. We're meant to be the bigger, stronger, more aggressive team, and we weren't today. Sebastian Coates picks up a yellow card. He's going to be out for the next leg, which is good news for us, because obviously he's one of their key players. I think he's their captain, but he's definitely one of their key centre-backs and a key player for them. There was a moment where he picked up the ball on the edge of his own box, maybe even inside his box, and just ran through our entire team and almost got a shot off. And it was Gabby Martinelli that tracked him all the way back and eventually made the tackle. And this sort of thing just shouldn't be happening. It just should not be happening when, it's like when there's no Thomas Partey on the pitch, we can get walked through completely, like just far too easily. Without Thomas Partey on the pitch, without Odegaard, and without a focal point up top, be that Nketiah, Trossard, Jesus, we've really struggled to contain the ball and use the ball anything like we have for the rest of the season. Even games that we lost against Man United, against Man City, we controlled the ball better than this. It was really disappointing in terms of the quality of the football that we put together. I think that the international break is going to come at a good time for us. We should be able to get past these guys at the Emirates Stadium. We've got Fulham on Sunday, and I think we'll have one more game next weekend, and then we should go into the international break. And I think that'll be a little bit lucky for us. I think actually that will give us some time to get some players recovered. And, we are just starting to drop off in terms of quality at the moment, the quality of the football. And I'm confident it will come back after the international break. I'm not happy about Partey being selected for Ghana, but what can you do? But we need to really rest and kind of relax our players as much as possible. So I don't really want to be seeing anyone play over the international break unless it's absolutely necessary. And in my opinion, none of them will be absolutely necessary, and I would just rest them all if I could. But obviously, it's not up to me. Like I said, we started with Gabby Martinelli up top. We had Saka and Reece Nelson out wide. They are the two in-form players at the moment. Reece Nelson coming off that Bournemouth game, and Saka all season has just been fantastic. We need to get the ball out to them as quickly as possible, feed them. We can't go direct into Martinelli because he can't hold the ball up. They play 5 at the back, and they have a holding midfielder. That's 6 players around him. He cannot hold the ball up. They will need to use the wide men. And we weren't using the wide men. We were going straight through the middle, direct passes, and we just were not using the wide men. Fabio Vieira was getting kind of squeezed out. He started to drift wide, and he was taking up Saka's position, so Saka wasn't free to run and receive the ball in the way that he wanted. And it just wasn't great. For their first goal, Jakub Kiwior, who is somebody that I am really excited about. He's a great ball-playing centre-back. I'm really excited. I was messaging people before saying, check this guy out. Really poor. Ducks his head. I don't think he had a terrible game, but for that first set piece that they scored, he ducked his head out of the way, didn't really look like he wanted any contact, didn't attack the ball, had an opportunity to go and to go and get the ball and just didn't. Similar for Matt Turner. It's an in-swinging corner. Go out and get your hand on it or stay on the touchline. He doesn't do either. He's in no man's land and they get a goal. And I thought Matt Turner was poor. I thought his distribution was poor. I thought he took too long to distribute the ball at all. And then when he did try and distribute the ball, it wasn't done with confidence. What we don't want to be doing against a team like these guys who press, they press quite high, they press aggressively, they've got great wingers that are going to chase you down. What you don't want to be doing is playing with the ball in the air. You know, you want to be launching it out to your wide men. You maybe want to pass the ball to your fullbacks. Matt Turner keeps chipping it, little chips in the air into Jorginho. While the ball's in the air and Jorginho is trying to bring it down, that's going to be time for those people to press him. When he did play it on the floor to Jorginho Zinchenko, we're not quick enough at turning and popping it off, turning and popping it off. We see it with Xhaka, we see it with Partey. The ball goes into their feet, they pop it straight to the fullback, straight to the winger, and then we go. That transition, that defense into attack transition was really, really slow today. We gave them way too much time. Man for man, we're the better team. We should be the physically stronger team. Man for man, we're stronger than these. Do you know what I mean? So we shouldn't have a huge problem with that press, but we did today. And so we lacked a little bit of intensity, and we paid for that. We paid for that ultimately because one goal came from a set piece where we just bottled that, and the second goal came from their press, you know, where we were just continually losing the ball when we brought these problems on ourselves. We're a very, very good team, but we consistently bring problems on ourselves with the style of football that we play. Not the style, but knowing when to and when not to play that style of football. There's a time and a place for it. And there's a time and a place to just let it go and not play that style of football. And in this second string team, they just didn't get it right today. There's still some positives. Obviously, Saliba got his goal. The goal that we got was a deflection. I think the shot might have been going on target, but it was ultimately an own goal because it was a deflection and it went in. So the keeper's going to feel a little bit, a little bit bad about that. But ultimately, you know, this is what we want to be seeing. We want to be seeing Granit Xhaka picking up the ball on the edge of the box, hitting shots in if there's nothing else on. That's what he does. If you don't buy a ticket, you win a raffle. You know how that goes. I thought Saka was still pretty good today. Very physical, very strong. You know, I still think he needs a break over that international rest period. I think he'll come back a lot stronger. I thought Fabio Vieira, again, is good technically on the ball, but shies away a little bit. When there's a congested area of the pitch where he doesn't want that physical contact, he's drifting wide when he should stay central. The positioning was a little bit strange to me. And we put Martinelli up top, but it looked like we tried to play the same tactics and not. Martinelli needs to be bouncing the ball. If he's playing up top, he can't hold the ball. You know, that's not his game. You know, he's not as strong as any of the other strikers that we have. He needs to bounce the ball back or bounce the ball wide, and we need to be trying to play him in behind. We're going to struggle to play him in behind today because they play a back five. We probably should have told him, listen, it's going to be a really frustrating game for you. In the end of the game, we ended up putting Martinelli out wide on the left with Reece Nelson coming off and Fabio Vieira going up top. And we just couldn't find him. We just really, really struggled to find him. We're putting crosses in the box, and Fabio Vieira is not the person to be crossing into the box. So, you know, we had some questions asked of us today that we couldn't quite answer. I think some of that looks leggy. Some of that is changes that have had to happen. We've had 6 changes. They asked Arteta before the game, stupid question as always, of, you know, 6 changes, why these changes? But we have injuries. We have 3 people in our team who are used to playing as a striker. Martinelli does it sometimes, but Gabby Jesus, Nketiah, Trossard are all recognised strikers, and they're all injured. You know, the Trossard one looks like he'll be back, you know, in a couple of weeks, and Jesus should be coming back as well. By the time the international break is done, he should be looking at coming back as well. Eddie Nketiah, I'm not sure exactly how long that's going to be, but Martinelli up top, I don't think it doesn't work, but I think it's more likely to work against the team that play a high line. You know, I'm really excited to see him against Liverpool. This actually, I think, was a really good test for how Liverpool are going to play against us. You know, we should take a lot of lessons from this. Because, you know, these guys are like a not quite as good Liverpool. They're going to press you high. They've got some exciting, quick wingers with some good feet. So I think it's a good audition for the Liverpool game that we're going to have in the future. But in terms of today, we got through the result. We rode our luck a little bit. Some people keep talking about us being lucky. and maybe we are a little bit. We have to ride our luck when it comes. I thought, we deserved that first goal and we should have really run away with it. If we run away with it, put 3 past them, take it out of their hands, then we don't really have much of a conversation to have. They're not going to come back from that. But they did manage to score. They did manage to get that set piece. They did manage to keep pressing us and force us into mistakes. And that's been a bit of a theme this season. That's the last bit that needs to get eradicated from this team, is those mistakes. But look, it's the first leg. It's away. This is why we like the first leg being away, because we can go back to our home ground and really do what needs to be done. But yeah, I was just disappointed with Kiwior today. Really disappointed. Didn't really impose himself on the game. Wasn't physical. Wasn't picking up the ball in space and popping the ball. And yes, they pressed him, and that he might not have had the opportunity. But even so, with the corner, it's criminal. It really is. This is, I don't know. Maybe we should have been featuring him earlier in the season and not waiting until a knockout European game to give him his first game. A game of such huge stakes. Hopefully we see him figure at some point in the Fulham game on the weekend. If we can go 2 or 3 goals up, I'd like to see him get 15-20 minutes for Gabriel in the Fulham game. I want to see him go, because he will probably start again next Thursday, and I want to see him looking much more confident and imposing than he did today. Apart from that, I'm struggling for who to give a man of the match to be honest with you. It could probably be one of the Sporting players. It could be Edwards, out wide, pressing, doing kind of what we typically associate with Saka. Pressing, using, good feet, getting in behind, beating his opposition player and trying to get shots off and being dangerous. He's probably one of the better players on the pitch today, so credit to him. But we're going to have to be better. Our fans, after everything that we've been through this season and the way the season's shaping up in the league, we really don't want to be seeing us getting knocked out of a European trophy quarter-final at our home ground. That will be a real disaster and a real mental blow. But for now, we focus on Sunday. If we can get back to predominantly a full-strength team with Ødegaard and Partey back in that midfield, we should have enough to get past Fulham. No disrespect to Fulham, they've been playing well. They just pick up quite a few draws. And again, man for man, I think that we're the stronger side. We should have enough to beat them. So, and then hopefully we get through this. 2-2 is such a dangerous scoreline, and it would be just a real heartbreak. I was there a couple of seasons ago when we got knocked out by Frankfurt, and I don't want to be seeing this again. We should really be getting past Sporting. If we can't get past Sporting, we don't deserve to go and win this trophy. Now again, this was with 6 changes. We do have injuries. If any of our strikers are fit, then this turns out to be a different game. But this is what it is. Come the crunch time of the season, we're going to have to be flexible, and we're going to have to use our squad in a really smart way to get the kind of results that we want. So, Edwards man of the match, and we just, none of our players deserved it. So it's 2-2. It's not the end of the world. This has been a pretty negative video, so I do apologise, but I'm just not feeling super positive after that 90 minutes that I watched of that game. It didn't really make me feel like, it didn't make me feel like we were playing the kind of football that we should have. And I don't know how much that's legs, rotation, dealing with injuries and different things like that, but we need to buck our ideas up if we want to be serious about going and winning trophies.